look at the screen, you can see a blockchain. A blockchain is simply, when I ask you what is blockchain, most of you will just say Bitcoin. That is the layman's understanding of what a blockchain is. But that is not so. Actually, a blockchain is a ledger. What do you mean by a ledger? A ledger is like a database. A blockchain is simply a database that stores transactions in real time and makes it transparent for everyone to see. So I'm going to give a brief overview before so that we can understand. Blockchain came into existence because of some of the deals we find happening, especially in the finance space. Some of us have accounts, right, from various banks, and you wake up with various forms of deduction. The one that you feel, but if you are opportunity to put your bank statement, you will now see what they call hidden deductions, charges that you don't know anything about. That is why even if your minimum balance is 2,000 naira today, by the next 2 months, you will hardly find 500 on it. Is that not true? Why is this so? And the truth is that you don't even get a lot of it. It didn't start here. So what you see happening in Nigeria started happening already in the Western world. So when this kind of act started happening, somebody went into research and thought about what we call electronic money, a means to make sure that money that moves and comes in can be accounted for very transparently. And that was what necessitated the first major breakthrough that brought about Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin was purely based on finance. It was electronic money based. That was in 2009. The breakthrough came. Now, but something happened along the line. A young man like you, a student then, Vitalik Buterin, is a Russian American. Vitalik went to a Bitcoin conference from US to Russia. And while he was at the meeting, they were discussing the prospects of finance. And the young man just bent down, bowed down, and began to think that this technology can go more than being used for only finances. And he saw a lecturer there by presently Dr. Gabi. He started speaking with him, and he told him, I am not good in hardcore programming, but I have this idea. If we can implement it, and after discussing, because that is the essence of conferences and workshops like this, you share ideas with people and you can get like minds. So along the line, something happened. Gavin Wood got interested, and both of them staying in America, traveled back, and they started the project. And by 2013, a new blockchain was born, and that was what actually started the revolution in the blockchain industry. The name of that blockchain was called Ethereum. When Ethereum came in 2013, it came in with a special use case, which was called smart contract development. So it means I cannot only use my blockchain for buying and selling. I can actually create agreements on a chain and let the chain on itself settle the agreement cross-lessly. So that was how Ethereum, and that pushed Ethereum to a very high level. And when Ethereum started gaining popularity because of its new use case, meaning that Ethereum cannot be used in virtually every area of human endeavor, not only in finance, not only in electronic money anymore. It started growing, and as it began to grow, a lot of problems began to arise. That is the problem of scalability. Do you know what we mean by scalability? When something began to get more users, it is no longer functioning the way it's supposed to function because of what? Overuse. So people began to use Ethereum to that extent. So the next thing happened is that more blockchains started copying Ethereum and creating a prototype of Ethereum and started giving the rule. One of them is the Arbitron, PNB, Binance, and all of those things. They started creating. But along the line, we have a chain we call the XRP Ledger. I have explained most of all of this. So you can see some of the list of blockchains available. Then let's talk about Ripple. In 2011, developer David Schwartz and author to join forces a collective to create a digital asset that was more sustainable, scalable, and able to process transactions much faster. And they call that blockchain the XRP Ledger. Now, the difference is this: XRP works on APIs. And anyone who knows development knows that API doesn't need much code for you to do wonders with it. You just implement your API code and you can consume it from any point. And it becomes very fast, and usage was at least it started relieving some of the stress on the Ethereum. So how does how does X how does XRP Ledger work? It uses unique consensus algorithm. When we talk about XRP, it uses a consensus algorithm to make agreements. Their transaction fees are very low, and they are validating transactions. They validate on various nodes. So this makes XRPs somewhat unique. So what is the next thing? This is an introduction to blockchain. There are more to it, but what you can do is to what? Get excited about the blockchain. Once you are excited, you will start what? Start building, start learning what to do. When you know what to do,